of course, it fucking changed my whole... I went live and it totally changed my aspect ratio. Okay. So yeah, we're live on TikTok too now.
And we're on the channel.
All right.
We're gonna get cracking. We're just gonna go right into it.
You got a little bit of an echo on you, on your voice, just a little.
Yeah. Check 1 2.
Yeah, like it actually sounds like you have reverb on.
Check 1 2. Testing.
Mm-hmm. We're live on YouTube too. All right, what do we got? Our pre-roll going?
Testing. 1 2. Check.
Yeah, I hear your YouTube video on my end.
All right, we're ready.
All right, go for it. We're already live on TikTok, so.
And we're live.
Cool.
Welcome to Haunted Hangover Alive. Number 11, episode 11, live 11. I'm Louie, and I'm joined by Manny.
That's right.
We've also got another special guest here. He's
special.
He's made an appearance a couple times. You know, he's the third co-host.
Oh Jesus!
But here he is.
This
here,
guy?
Yes, he's here, guys. Here he is.
Welcome to Haunted Hangover, motherfucker.
What is that? An AI Busta Rhymes?
No, that's the real Busta Rhymes. What are you talking about, Manny?
It's the real. You got the real Busta Rhymes.
The real Busta Rhymes is here with us. He's joining us on the show. He's
right.
here. He's hanging out with us. He wants to talk about spooky music videos with us. He's got a couple of spooky music videos, but unfortunately, none of them are on this list that we're going to be discussing.
Like John Cena, you can't see him either, right?
You cannot see him, no. Unfortunately, no. You can't see him. But yes, before we dive into the topic at hand, I wanted to discuss something that I experienced recently. So, back in July, Grimy and I did a anticipated Halloween episodes that we normally do. And one of the items I was really looking forward to was Six Flags Fright Fest Extreme 2024, which is their Halloween event. Mm-hmm. Now, I went last Saturday. Yeah, Saturday I went. And I was excited because this year they're incorporating IP. So they've got The Conjuring, they've got Trick or Treat. They've got Stranger Things. They've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new one, the last one to come out.
Trying to compete with Universal or something.
Oh, or something. I think they are trying to compete with Universal and like Knott's Berry Farm and Disney and all that stuff. So when I saw that, and in the past, I've told myself I will not ever again go to Six Flags Fright Fest because I had some pretty poor experiences.
I've gone once.
And it fucking sucked, right?
It sucked. I went once and the power went out.
Well,
Half the park, the power went down, like all day long.
so I too have gone. I've been going since I was a kid. My mom my mom's been taking me since they had a hayride at one point. I've talked about it on the show before. So yeah, so I mentioned it in that episode because the IPs caught my eye. I was like, oh shit, they're really trying to put in some competition in the kind of theme park Halloween event, I guess, world. They just want to kind of do their own thing because they've been doing this for years, but they never ever had kind of IP characters. I think they had the Crypt Keeper once, and then the year I went, last time I went was 2018, and they had a haunted house based on Hellfest that was coming out that year, and that haunted house sucked. The movie was great, the house garbage. So I was excited to go check out this year haunted house based on Trick or Treat and all this stuff. What happens? Buy my ticket about a week in advance.
Oh, Jesus.
So we buy our tickets, and I get an email. And keep in mind, they've been promoting this shit since like June, July.
Yeah.
They put up a trailer. They put up images all over their social media. They were quite proud of this year's Fright Fest Extreme. I'm adding that in because that's what they're calling it.
Big letters, Extreme.
Literally, it says Six Flags Fright Fest Extreme. And I should point out our nearest Fright Fest, Six Flags, is Great Adventure in New Jersey. I think Jackson something. I forget the name of the exact town. Yeah. So what happens? I get an email. It says that the event is going to be a preview event. Unfortunately, due to circumstances they can't control, the event 2 days prior, keep in mind, this is 2 days before.
So this is like opening weekend you're going to?
Opening weekend. But keep in mind, they've been promoting this now for like 3 months.
So you're going to open weekend. They basically pushed back opening weekend.
Yes, but they did it like 2 days before. So I was going Saturday. I think they told everyone in an email and on their social media on Thursday.
Oh, by the way, this weekend's just a preview. Assholes who bought the tickets.
Yes, and the fucked up thing was they were going to... So I was going Saturday, but they were technically opening Friday because it was Friday the 13th. So that was going to be the first day.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. What happens? I get this email, and I'm like, this sucks. None of the haunted houses I want to go to are open. None of the IP haunts are open. Two of the I don't want to say shitty because one of them was really cool, but I don't want to talk about it now because I do plan on doing a full review when I go back, and I'll explain that in a second.
You're gonna go back?
Yeah. But listen. They say none of the, IP haunts, no Texas Chainsaw, no Trick or Treat, no Stranger Things. None of these haunted houses are open. There's a Saw haunted house that's not open. All that's open are two of their original haunts. I'm like, all right, cool. And the shows are on. So they have a dancing zombie show and some other stuff. So all that's going to be open, and so is the some of the scare zones. So the zombies walking around, the monsters, the clowns, etc. around the park are going to be open. And they're going to be comping people tickets to go, if they bought a ticket to Fright Fest, to go another night in October. So I was like, all right, we already bought a daytime ticket because I wanted to get on some of the roller coasters during the day, and then we bought a nighttime ticket for Fright Fest. So we had to go to the park in order to get this comp ticket. So there was no kind of way around it. I tried to call. Six Flags is a fucking mess. Six Flags Great Adventure. I don't know about across the U.S., other states, what it's like, but at least here, our Six Flags, shit. It's not known for being the.
They've always been a pain. I said I only went to Fright Fest once there. The power went out. That's really not their fault that the power grid it's not entirely their fault. but I've had plenty of not fun experiences at that Six Flags. You know, I mean, nothing like horribly bad at, but just kind of like, this really sucked being there.
Yes.
You know,
So
Six Flags has never been super kind to me.
yeah, and being like a fan of Universal Studios and theme parks and stuff, they've always been kind of at the bottom of the barrel. I'd rather go to Dorney Park's Halloween event or Hershey Park's Halloween event. I feel like they're worth the price of admission. So what happened?
And the trip.
And the trip. Well,
And the trip.
I'd rather Hershey and Dorney are farther.
That's what I'm saying. They make it worth the trip.
Yes,
because
exactly.
they're in the middle of nowhere too. Like
Yeah.
Hershey, Pennsylvania is not
Oh
like
yeah, at least a
it's the middle of nowhere.
2.5 hour. You know, if you hit traffic,
It's in the
it could
middle
take
of
us-
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like it's 2.5 hours from anywhere.
Six Flags Great Adventure is about an hour and a half from us, so it's not that
Yeah.
bad. So we go, and as soon as we walk into the park, I tell Chris, one of the Haunted Hangover gang here, one of the many faces you see here at Haunted Hangover. He came with me, and as soon as we walked in, I said something is off. Usually they decorate the entire front entrance where the admissions is where you walk through security and you can buy tickets and all that stuff. Nothing was decorated. It was fucking empty, desolate, not a single pumpkin or skeleton anywhere. I was like, dude, it feels like they haven't even finished decorating.
Feels like a manager quit and
Something
got nobody to
fucking
finish
happened,
it.
dude. So we spend our day. We're like, all right, we'll make the best of it. We got a couple drinks. We got on Batman, the roller coaster. We got on a bunch of roller coasters, rides and stuff, and we had a good time. The usual shit that they have there. Can't complain. I love a good roller coaster. So we're sitting at this Oktoberfest event. We're having a drink, and we hear the gong. Oh, Fright Fest is about to begin. The front of the park, the very entrance, they did have decorated. There was fog, and the fountain was red like blood, and they had a couple of other things. But then we started to notice we walked around the fucking park at least 4 times because we were trying to really see where are the scare zones. We had to find the haunted houses. No one told us which haunted houses were open and where they were. It was horrible. So we had to literally run around. At one point, we went to one haunted house. We waited like an hour to walk through it, and then it took us about an hour to find the second one. We asked 3 workers, "Where is this other haunted attraction?" And no one knew. So we were like, "Okay, this is working. This is great. We're having a blast just finding a fucking another haunted house." And I'll say
Here's
this.
a quick question.
Yes.
How many people were there?
Like in the
Like
park?
as far as a crowd.
Oh,
A
it was
crowd,
fucking,
yeah.
it was packed, dude.
So everybody's basically going through the same nonsense you are right now.
So here's what they did, and this is the
Oh.
this is the upsetting part. So I learned that what they were doing was if you bought a ticket during the day, let's say because they do like a kids Halloween event during the day
Yeah.
called Boo Fest. If you bought a ticket for during the day, you can stay in the park and get admission to Fright Fest for free. Not fucking dumbass me who bought a ticket for the daytime admission because I wanted to get on rides
And then bought the second
ticket to go. So that's why they were comping people like me a ticket for later, which is what they were promising. You can come to the park, get a comp ticket, you'll come another day. I will say this, and I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want this to just be me bitching about Six Flags for 45 minutes. Too late. But just by what I'm seeing and just the experience I've had so far, I'm not expecting this to be. We're going back in like 2 weeks, and I'm going to do a full review of my
'Cause you have
experience
the
with
comp
Chris.
ticket.
Because I have the comp ticket. So I'm going on
Okay.
October 5th, I believe, is when I'm going. And I have a sneaking suspicion my opinion is not going to change. At one point, dude, at one point, we walked to. They had like this bar that was inside the old Batman chiller ride that used to be there. It looked like I think it was like Mr. Freeze hut or something they used to have. It's actually still standing. The ride's gone. The coaster's gone, but the facade for that building is still there. Mm-hmm. And we go inside and we're leaving. I think we got a drink or something. We're leaving the bar. And Chris looks over to his side and he's like, "It's Vecna." So they were still building the Stranger Things. Dude, there was like a wide open panel. You could see right into the room where Vecna was standing like a mannequin. And I was like telling myself, this ain't looking good, man. this ain't looking good. This is looking like it's gonna be real shitty. It just looked like a mannequin you'd see at like a department store standing there. Vecna. Sun beaming on him, not scary at all. I don't know what to expect. I've been avoiding other, because I don't want it to affect my opinion of it. So I've been avoiding pictures and vlogs and whatever. I usually avoid a lot of stuff like that anyway, but as I don't want it to sway me in any way. But I just say this, it was probably one of the worst experiences, just experiences being promised something and just it not happening. And it's, what if I can't go later in the season?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think they're offering people refunds because they would have to offer fucking hundreds of people refunds per day. But I'm just like,
no, they don't. They don't want to offer refunds.
Six
They want to
Flags.
keep the money in
Yeah.
and just come back another day.
My thing is like Six Flags. You want to compete with Halloween Horror Nights and Not Scary Farm and Dorney Park Haunt and all this stuff. Hershey Park's Haunted Attraction event. But you can't even settle on a date of when it's open when you've been promoting it since the summer. Like in July. Or June or July. I'm pretty sure it was July. They mentioned this
It sounds to me like, it honestly sounds to me like maybe one of the house builders or a manager,
somebody quit.
Somebody quit
Yeah.
or was fired, and
Probably.
they fell behind. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe they didn't get the IP for something, and they had to build another house. They had to build something different. And they fell behind as a result of that.
We did see permit, something about a permit or a certification. Like we walked by the Conjuring haunted house.
Yeah.
And because it was right next to the Superman roller coaster, and we noticed it and it said The Conjuring. And there was a sign in front saying that they're waiting for, it just looks like, because again, neither one of us, work in the amusement park industry or haunt industry. We just like going to them. Yeah. I'm sure there's laws and permits you need, fire safety things and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, they have those because they are an attraction all year long.
Yeah,
for the most part, they have
part.
that. I'm thinking it might be more of an IP thing. Maybe they didn't get the license for
Possibly.
something. Maybe they lost the license, or they, you know what I mean?
But it's
Maybe
like,
the license didn't start yet.
Guys, you've been around for fucking 50, 60 years. You've been doing this event for as long as I've been alive. I when I was a kid, I remember going with my mom.
Yeah, that's
you
about the
guys
time
should have
I
your
started,
shit
early
together.
90s.
You should. Yeah, that's when I started going. You should have your shit together. If you're trying to have this big Halloween event, it should be put together. You should be all the I's should be dotted and T's crossed when it comes
like
to that time of the year.
Like you said, though, they've never really done IP before. It's always mostly been their own original things, with the exception of the occasional thing here or there. Like I know they've done Chucky in the past.
I think so. I know like I said, Crypt Keeper, Hellfest. I know they've done like one or two things.
It sounds like they've gotten a big Blumhouse Universal thing this year, and maybe that.
No, not that big. Funny enough.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, like deal.
Yeah.
Some type of deal. They have The Conjuring, and they have all. Maybe they got that, and that complicated things. I don't know. It sucks one way or another.
Yeah.
It really sucks that it's like it's your opening weekend, and the weekend of you decide, this is only going to be a preview, and you people just got to come back later.
Dude, and like I said, and one of the haunts were cool. It was a witch-themed haunt it was like a house of mirrors, and there were witches inside, so that was really cool. The second haunt I had been to previously was like a standard neon 3D clown haunt, which every haunted attraction event has one of those. But outside of that, the rest of the park was really depressing. It's like half the shit wasn't turned on. There were barely any scare actors. It was like the same 15 people wandering the whole park.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have like 4 or 5 scare zones, and I think I saw 1 or 2 active.
Oh, that sounds like what's the one in Long Island?
Bayville.
What's the one? Bayville. That's what it sounds like. Bayville is depressing.
No comment. Dude, we will.
Oh man, Bayville. Every year, every other year we go, and it's just like, why are we here?
Yeah.
We try to go real early in the season when there's less people, so we can at least go. Because when you have to go deal with the mess that the place is on top of long lines of people, it's like we did the golf course last year, and parts of it they were just like puddles of water.
Oh
Like it was
God, that
just,
sounds
it was
horrible.
just, yeah, like
Listen,
it can't
waits.
be as bad as that.
Listen, waits are always long at these events. You know, Halloween Horror Nights. It's just that's the nature. If you want to get into stuff fast, you got to get the fast pass or the fright
Yeah.
pass or whatever they call it. Every park has their own version of it. But for me, it was just like, what a disappointment. I just feel like it sucks that people bought tickets for your event, were excited to go, and you tell all of them 2 days before, like, sorry, the event's
Yeah.
kind of happening. It's a preview event in the middle of September. Like, this is when people are gearing up for the Halloween season.
Yeah,
And
it's weird.
I'm already seeing people decorating their houses. It's literally the middle of September. Why would, and it's Friday the 13th. You're starting on Friday.
Should have been ready. They
So
should have
it's
been ready.
weird. And so, yeah, I'm going back October 5th. Here's the funny thing. I'm literally going to Halloween Horror Nights a few days before. So it's going to be, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights.
Contrast.
Yeah, I'm going. And the funny thing is, Halloween Horror Nights has been running since August already.
Yeah, they're going
They
earlier
run
every year.
earlier and earlier every year. Disney has been doing their Halloween, even though it's not haunts, but it's like not so scary Halloween,
Yeah.
since August. Fright
It's-
Fest. Get your
You know
shit
what it is?
together.
It's that there's nothing after 4th of July. 4th of July, the next holiday is Halloween.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why Halloween is just expanding more and more every year. These companies are starting to be like, we can just do this sooner.
Which is cool.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Dude, July 6th, that's it. Spooky season. I'm in.
Listen, if you want to open up your fucking haunted attraction or your Halloween event, like August 10th, I'm cool with that. Whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be summer still, but whatever. It helps.
July 5th.
It helps with alleviating crowds. It helps with all that stuff. But the fact that they just announced this like 2 days before was
Yeah.
just disappointing. Especially that I was in our episode, the episode that I did with Grimy. I literally was hyping it up, but I was also cautious. I was like, it's still Six Flags Great Adventure. It's still Six Flags. So I'm optimistic. I don't know if it's going to be what they're promising. And so far, it has not been what they promised. I still don't. I've been to the park and still don't know what the event is. That goes to show you how.
We'll find out in a couple of weeks when you do the both of them.
Oh wait, here we got a comment here. Let's see what I read that Six Flags has new movie-based houses, mazes. The New Jersey one has exclusive TCM one though, and the Texas one is the flagship. Yes, I heard about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, but unfortunately was not able to go through it because they fucking lied to everybody, and it was just a preview night. And I am excited. I'm excited to check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house that's going to be popping up. It's based on the newer film, but nonetheless, it's still fucking Leatherface. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights, and they always kill it with the events.
They're the king.
I mean, they're the king. Don't get me wrong. They have their fucking issues too with crowds and
everything
organization, but it's still sort of it's still probably them and Not Scary Farm are the, and even Dorney Park Haunt, I'd give them some credit. They are always organized. I've never been to the park and been like, after I left, when it's fucking midnight, 1 a.m, I'm driving back to New York, I'm not like, that was a waste of time. I've left Six Flags Fright Fest and told myself,
I've left Six Flags, period, whether it's Fright Fest or not. I've just left Six Flags like that was a waste of time.
One of my favorite roller coasters, and I promise, guys, we're going to leave. We're going to jump into the main topic soon. But
you sure about that?
Ben Grimm here. I know my buddy in Texas is mad because how they are going to have an exclusive TCM house not in Texas. Yeah, that's pretty kind of silly to not have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Not at the
not at the Six Flags Fright Fest. That Six Flags in Texas. That is pretty funny.
That sounds like a rights issue.
Probably.
That sounds like a rights issue that they couldn't get the rights for the Texas because of the actual Texas Chainsaw events that they have there.
That's how it usually is, though, because I know Halloween Horror, because I've been to both coast Halloween Horror Nights at both Universals, and the one here on the East Coast, Florida, gets different haunts than California. It's always different IPs and things like that. So, especially Hollywood, they lean into IPs. Like all the haunts are IPs.
Well, yeah, it's also a lot smaller.
Yeah,
like the one in LA is a lot smaller.
And the one out here is a combination of both IPs and original, which I dig because I sometimes think the original haunts are better than the IP ones. Sometimes they're. I remember going through the Purge haunt, and there were things in it that felt like it was originally a Scream haunted attraction, I think. Like I remember seeing some, or it was an homage or something. Maybe it was supposed to be one thing and they lost the license, like you said, and then they had to turn it last minute into something else. And I remember seeing like a Drew Barrymore, Casey Becker, literally looked like her almost, gutted, like hanging. I remember it was weird. It was. I was like, is that an homage or was this supposed to originally be a Scream house? Weird stuff. Licensing is always a pain in the ass. So I'm sure these parks, but being organized and like hitting the mark. Six Flags Great Adventure or Six Flags in general. Come on, guys. Don't sell tickets if you're not ready. And here's the kicker, Manny.
Another kicker?
Here's another kicker.
Like the fourth kicker.
The fourth kicker. We're kicking everywhere.
Kicking.
This Thursday is another week of Fright Fest at Six Flags Great Adventure. They sent an email again, or on their, not to me because I didn't buy tickets for that day.
On.
Still preview on Thursday.
Something went wrong. They lost something happened.
Yeah.
They fell behind construction.
Something happened.
Something happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if Friday and Saturday this weekend it ends up being preview. I think if they do this weekend, it's already like almost late September. They drop the ball. Six Flags, step it up, man. Just bad.
Something happened.
It's just bad, man. You guys don't have the event or don't promote the event till October 1st if you're not going to have your shit together. That's my rant.
Clearly you have been bothered by that.
Oh, dude, because I told myself in that episode.
I didn't mean to trigger more.
Don't let me down, Six Flags Fright Fest. And my first experience, a letdown. And I have to go back now where it's going to be fucking crowded. For another possible letdown. Oh, and you best believe I'm jumping on here with Chris and we're going to just talk shit for an hour about our experience and what it was like because I don't know, man. It's just, it's not smelling right now. I have a feeling this year they're going to learn a lot. And apparently this happened last year. I didn't even know that. So stop announcing your date that you're going to open Fright Fest and then it's a preview and everyone spends $100 fucking to walk into your park and not get Fright Fest.
Yeah.
Here's a witch to transition. There we go.
All right.
Moving on. There's the creepy witch to laugh at my third world problems? First world, what is it? First world problems?
First world. You third world.
I'm in Mars.
Dude.
But yes.
That would be fourth world problems. That's off world problems. Mars is off world problems.
The way I was feeling that day, it was fourth world problems.
I think you're still feeling it.
I was pissed the fuck off, man, that day. Driving my ass way the fuck over there only to find out that it's preview weekend. Kiss my ass, Six Flags Fright Fest. You owe me a whole season's pass now to Fright Fest next year. Go 50 times. Take everyone. Me and you can go. Bring the wives. Bring the moms. Bring everyone.
And just give everybody free pass.
Give Haunted Hangover.
Open the doors. Don't even sell tickets. Just open the door. Right?
Give Haunted Hangover like 50 tickets.
I will bring my whole family, the entire wedding party, everyone.
Everyone, just let's go.
Some guy we met on I-95 sleeping on the side of the road. Come on, let's go.
Busta Rhymes, what do you think of this?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
There you go. Trick or treat, motherfucker. That's how he feels.
All right.
Thank you, Busta Rhymes. All right.
Moving on.
The topic at hand.
Our topic of the day.
Topic of the day. So it's the Halloween season.
Not Six Flags.
Not Six Flags Fright Fest. No.
29 minutes, buddy.
Sorry, guys. So, topic of the day. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And it's an idea that's been simmering for at least 2 years. And that's the spooky music video.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot out there, especially in the realm of Halloween. There's a lot of go-tos. And one or two of those might pop up in this list that we created. And in my mind, you think of spooky music videos, you think of... It could be one of two things. They could be the cheesy horror movie soundtrack, music video, or song, which this list also features. Or they can just be bizarre, creepy, kind of uncanny valley aspects, just weird visuals in a music video. And sometimes those are my favorite types of music videos. The type of music video that you watch and you're like, what the fuck what did I just see? What is this weird thing that this band or artist did? And what drove them to make this kind of just strange music video? And just kind of, and that's kind of how I thought about it. Because I was like, the scenario in my mind and just kind of the way I thought is if we were having a Halloween party and we weren't actually watching, like we were watching them, we're not really paying attention, I'd say, but weren't listening to them. The volume was on mute. We had music on. There was music in the speakers, our own playlist, whatever. This is what would be playing if you're not playing a horror film. This is what would be playing on a visual playlist on the TV in the background. Just weird visuals and there's again, this is something I don't think most people do at Halloween parties, but in my world, there you go. Most people they'll just play like a movie. That's usually what they'll do. But
I play a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome
shot on video stuff.
The AGFA. Yeah. No, the AGFA, like their mixtapes.
Those are great.
The satanic night and things like that.
Which again, just like strange visuals and just odd kind of cues. And some of these, and I will say,
and one of them that we're going to talk about today, I actually use too.
There you go. So that's kind of that's the criteria, I guess. Just kind of either leaning into the cheese and Halloween vibes, or just fucking strange, just weird shit. So we do have one or two honorable mentions, per usual. We can never just pick 5 each. Always have to have an extra pick or two. Start with you, Manny, because I think you have more. Yeah, I only have one honorable mention. So
well, my honorable mentions are kind of related to my picks.
Okay.
I'll mention them as we get along.
So I'll start with my honorable mention, which is a video I stole from you. So this was something you were gonna pick, and I said, you know what, that's a good video, and I had forgotten about it. Honestly, it was a music video I hadn't seen in a long time. Literally, I put it on like 2 hours ago just to refresh myself. It's like, wow, I haven't watched this video. I remember when it aired, and that is, and it's pretty infamous. This is from Robbie Williams, Rock DJ, from the year 2000. I can't believe that this came out in 2000. That's insane that this video is that old. I can't believe it. Yeah. I saw that. I was like, really? That was 2000? Now, Robbie Williams, Rock DJ. If you're not familiar, unfortunately in this live, we cannot show clips of the video. We cannot play the song because we will get copyright strikes up the ass.
YouTube does not like this.
So you have to rely on our descriptions and conversation about the video. So the Rock DJ video from Robbie Williams. Basically what it is you've got him inside of this kind of very early 2000s club setting.
Yeah.
There's a stage and there's dancers and
like a stage in the middle.
Yeah.
Everybody's all around him. It's
yeah. And he's basically, he raises up on a platform in the center of this stage, and these women are dancing all around him. There's a DJ, female DJ, playing music, you'd assume, and I'm sure there's lights fucking shining everywhere. There's a mirror ball. It's very much a club atmosphere. That's what it feels like.
It's almost like this is where you would have a dance competition.
Yes.
Everybody stands around and you can see them from all. Yeah.
And what starts to happen is he's trying to get the DJs. It is called Rock DJ. He's trying to get the DJ's attention by being all sexy. And it's Robbie Williams. So he's got his tank top on, his tight jeans. He's doing the John Travolta Saturday Night Fever dance. He's doing, literally, he does that a bunch in the video. I was like, okay, Robbie Williams. And he's taking off his shirt. He's taking off his pants. Finally, he's like, I got to take off my underwear. He's wearing his little Superman tighty whities.
Drops the skivvies.
The skivvies. And his weenie is blurred out. His booty is also blurred out.
Yep.
And he's like, that's not enough. What happens? And this is where the video takes a turn.
Gets pretty awesome.
And this is where it gets literally Halloween visuals, horror visuals. He begins to remove his skin.
Mm-hmm.
then starts removing his muscles. So think Julia from Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, right? And Frank from Hellraiser 1. Muscle tissue, bone, slimy, gross looking, all muscle. He starts to rip off his muscle and toss that into the audience of women that are dancing and riding around him. They start eating it. And then he basically becomes a skeleton because he just keeps ripping off all the flesh. But the skeleton is still alive and dancing. It is ridiculous. Yeah. And I put this on. I tested it out. I muted it. And I was like, if anyone saw this video, you would not know that's where it was gonna go. No. Like, you would not expect it to go that direction.
Even forget mute, just watch the video.
Yeah, and then the song is just it's a cheesy fucking song. I'm not even gonna lie. It's catchy. It's very cheesy.
It's a very standard like Euro pop song. It's nothing, nothing really extraordinary or crazy or exceptional about this song. It's standard, late 90s Euro pop.
And Robbie Williams is definitely a product of that time. And he and dare I say, this song, I don't think you could mention this song without mentioning the music video. No. I think everybody's like, oh, the video where he rips his skin off.
And Millennium. And Millennium was the biggest song he had.
Yeah. So, but I still say Rock DJ. Most people remember it for the flesh ripping and the blood.
He had that. Millennium was like, he had that like James Bond look to it. So that's why that was, he had like the white suit, like the Daniel Craig Spectre white suit.
Yeah.
And so that was really big there because obviously again it's Euro pop, so it's they did a James Bond themed video. That was huge.
I remember watching this. Like, I remember this airing on MTV. I was in high school, and I remember this airing on TV, and even like seeing it on television, I was even taken back. Like, wow, this video wasn't banned by how grotesque it is. But it rules. I love it, man. It's a great video. I hadn't seen it in a long time until before jumping on live here. It's been a few years. And I was like, wow, this video, the CGI when he becomes a skeleton's kind of hokey, but honestly,
almost like that dancing skeleton you see in all the GIFs now.
Yes.
Like that was the height of CG in music videos at the time, and now it's just a meme GIF.
It's a great music video.
Cheesy looking.
And I feel like most people, you could take any song and edit that song into him removing his skin and kind of do like, I almost feel like taking an edit, grabbing it and just editing it, chopping it up and editing it together. It's like a different song entirely and making it strictly a, spooky season video. Like, it just
add a 6 Feet Under song to it there.
There you go. Not even. I wouldn't add a 6 feet. I'd add something a little more, a little more dancey because of the style of dance he's doing in the video. And all it took was him ripping off his flesh for the DJ to pay attention to him. So
that's a way of grabbing attention.
So that's my first honorable mention. I'll go into my first pick since your honorable mentions are connected to to your picks. So my first official pick is a staple. This song is a staple in the most generic Halloween playlist. And that's not a knock on it, because I will admit I am a fan of the song. As cheesy and corny as it is, it still warms my heart when I hear it every Halloween season. And that's Nightmare on My Street. From Freddie Prince, Fresh Prince, and Jazz. Freddie Prince sang the song. Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Nightmare on My Street. Now, this is from 1988, and it's from the album, I believe it's called I'm the Rapper and He's the DJ. That's the name of the album. And the backstory. So I actually own a 7-inch of this song as a single. Should have pulled it out. It's right over there, but I'm not going to do that right now. I
have the Freddie album.
Really?
Freddie's hits.
Oh, really? I don't know if that's on there. I don't think that this is on there. I think that's like his.
Off the top of my head, I know it's got the Fat Boys song.
Possibly.
Yeah. The Freddie rap is on.
Yeah, it's so silly. That's a funny record too. But the interesting thing about Nightmare on My Street is they got sued for this song because they used the Nightmare on Elm Street theme, the score, piece of music from the score as the beat. It was sampled in the song.
Yeah.
And they were sued. They had to pay money. Apparently it was considered to be a part of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Warrior.
Yeah.
Not Dream Warrior. Yeah, it's, Dream Master. Dream Master's part 4. Part 3 is Dream Warriors.
Master, yeah.
Part 4 is Dream Master.
Yeah.
But that's where the Fat Boys song comes into play. So I guess maybe they swapped it. And they were like, you know what? Will Smith, we don't want you because you used our shit without permission. We're going to stick with the Fat Boys. And they did the Ready for Freddy song or whatever. And dare I say, this song is better than the Fat Boys song, in my opinion.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both silly, cheesy songs.
Oh, of course. Now, what's really interesting about this video is that it was MIA for years.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was destroyed, and nobody ever got a chance to see it. Basically, everyone knew the song, it was featured on their album, it was a single, but no one ever saw the video because they got in trouble for using the Nightmare on Elm Street music. But like about 5 years ago, they finally released it to the public, which is kind of crazy to think that it took years for them to finally find a cassette where this video it's on, and they were able, I think they released it themselves, Jazzy Jeff or the producers of Fresh Prince. I mean, Will Smith. He's no longer the Fresh Prince. He's smacking Chris Rock now is what he's doing. But they finally decided to release the
Five Across the Eyes. Prince.
Yes. They finally decided to release the music video to the public. And for years I was like, the song is so descriptive. It's telling a story of Will Smith going to the movies with his friends, and then, one of his friends is sick or something. And when I go into a couple of details I like about the video and why I think it's the perfect spooky video, him going to the movies, Jazzy Jeff is sick or something in the hospital, and when he goes home, he starts having a nightmare, and Freddy attacks him, and then he thinks it's all a dream, but then Freddy attacks Jazzy Jeff. That's basically what happens in the song. Those are the lyrics. Him being attacked by Freddy. But when you watch the music video, there is no Freddy Krueger. And for years, I always wondered, what would a Nightmare on My Street, what would the music? I had images I created in my own little brain. I first heard this song a lot. I don't know. I was a kid when I heard it for the first time on the radio.
Yeah.
I always wondered, what would this music video be? Would it be Robert Englund or like someone pretending to be Robert Englund in the video?
Yeah.
That's not what we got. But what we got is glorious. So basically, the video opens up. The video opens up with basically them telling the audience this video has nothing to do with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, New Line Pictures, nothing, no association with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. They want you to know that it plays in the beginning.
It almost parts of it look like the parents don't understand video. It looks like they use a lot of the same sets.
I love it, and I'm glad you mentioned that because most of the video is. I'm just going to say Will Smith because that's who he is. Yeah. Will Smith wandering through a really cheap looking haunted house, but that's its charm. Being chased. Oh. Now, here is the kicker. He's being chased by a weird knockoff Freddy Krueger wearing a punk leather jacket with like a bootleg Misfits logo on it. He's got a white flat top, sunglasses, and his claws are record needles, basically. Yeah. Now, the video is so lo-fi, I think that might be Jazzy Jeff or somebody else in his crew portraying this Freddy. And he's literally chasing him the entire video until he finally gets him and then he wakes up. But I just love just the way the video is presented. And, obviously it's a video from the 80s, so it's not the best quality. It's not, remastered high def. But that's what makes it look better. That's what makes it look special. That's what's special about it. And there's just some dumb stuff in it. Like the opening, you've got like this doctor with a white afro. and Jazzy Jeff in a hospital bed all sick. It's really silly. There's a bunch of references to Thing from the Addams Family. So basically, he's got his own version of Thing in the video, and he's wearing like the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, the ring that's on two fingers. You know, what is it? Love, hate, or whatever from Do the Right Thing. It's like one of those rings. And it's just a bizarre video. It's the type of thing you'd see on Adult Swim. And a lot of these music videos are the type of thing you'd see on Adult Swim at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But this video is just bizarre. And when I finally, dude, I was so excited to see what the hell this video was going to be like that when I finally saw it, I was like, you know what? That was worth 30 years. Waiting. That was worth 30 years to finally see what the hell they got in trouble for. I think I even remember that they offered them the kid and play roles in House Party. If they would do that, they wouldn't sue them. And they just decided to, okay, just sue us. We don't want to be in your House Party movie. I remember reading that. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure New Line said to them, hey, look, you guys act in this movie, you guys are good. You know, you won't have to deal with a lawsuit, but I guess they decided to just kind of just bite the bullet and see if they could get away with it. But yes, Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff, Nightmare on My Street, one of my favorite kind of spooky season videos that honestly was just released a couple of years ago. We finally got to see it. So that's my first pick. What's your first pick, Manny?
My first pick is similarly silly, but a great song that coincidentally, as you said, they were disowned.
Yeah.
Okay, they were disowned by Nightmare on Elm Street. They would, and they weren't allowed to release it, or more or less as a result of that. This song is by Rockwell. It's called "Somebody's Watching Me," and it has vocals by Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson did not admit to being on the song.
Yeah, I remember reading that. You could tell it's him too.
It's clearly him. It's clearly him, but I mean, I've even had conversations with people where they swear it's not him. No, he always says it's not him. And these are like older people. This was years ago.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with like, no, he always said it's not him. It's very clearly him.
Yeah.
But he purposely kept himself he didn't take any credit for the song because he didn't want to overshadow Rockwell. So he always said it's not him because then people are going to ask that they're just going to call it the new Michael Jackson song, rather than the Rockwell song. And the song did well on its obvious. Everybody knew it was Michael Jackson, so that could be a reason why it did well, But yeah, either way, similar in that Nightmare on Elm Street disowned the Jazzy Jeff song, and Michael Jackson disowned this song just for the sake of it standing on its own, so he wouldn't have to be
for that strong career Rockwell ended up
that rise to the
skyrocket. This song, man, what a career! What happened before you continue? What the fuck happened to Rockwell? Where
Dude, I couldn't tell you.
What happened to him?
I didn't look into it. I really wasn't. I didn't want to go down like an artist profile.
Yeah.
I may do that a little later for one of our videos, but yeah. So anyway, so this video, it's a cool, creepy kind of sounding song. It's very danceable, which is what's probably the most fun of it. It's a very danceable, fun song. That spooky cheese organ, that plays through the whole song. I feel like that is one of those instruments in a song that makes me think of Halloween.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of that sound that's in Halloween toys. The boo, that old sound. I feel like that cheese organ is the same sound. So whenever I hear it in a song, I immediately associate the song with Halloween, just because of the sound.
Dude,
it's so pervasive.
I've been hearing this song in party cities for my entire life. You walk into any party city in October, you're hearing
this is it.
Somebody's watching.
It's in spirit too.
Yeah, in spirit. Yeah. Again, similar to Nightmare on My Street, this is a go-to in everyone's the most generic Halloween playlist. Both of these songs will be featured on them. but
Yeah.
you never get tired of them.
No.
You don't.
No. So this in this video, we're in Rockwell's house. We're in his house. The song is called "Somebody's Watching Me," and it is as literal as can be. He literally feels like somebody's watching him. Maybe it's he's talking about being so famous that he never has any time to himself. That could be something he's working out, although like we just said, he never really blew up other than this song. But you know, it's kind of like how when Kid Rock recorded the Bull God and said, "I'm selling 10 million records" before he sold 10 million records.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
stupid.
where the song almost became its own self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it could be the fact that that's what he was trying to say, but he didn't have that as a problem. Once the song came out, suddenly it's a problem, and he's never alone. Um, so in the video, it starts off he's in the shower. Yeah, of all the things, kind of.
There's a lot of liquids in this video. It's a very
yeah.
lubricated music video.
Lubricated,
It's a
yes.
very wet.
Yeah. So we start the video floating through the house, and the house is kind of empty, but you get the feeling that maybe you are somebody walking through the house. And again, he's in the shower. Nothing. It's not like it's not a steamy, scandalous type sexy shower. He's just taking a shower. It's very simple shower. As we move around, we see there are kind of weird things on the house. The TV is on. There's nobody watching it. And the images. So he finally when he comes out of the shower, there's this girl dancing, and she's in
Like a black
yeah, she's got a
dress
black
or something,
veil.
yeah.
We see the mailman has this weird newspaper. The mail, so it seems you start to think that you might be the mailman walking through the house. There's a dog that's randomly in the house. This big like Saint Bernard.
He's
looking.
shocked to see a dog in his house.
There's a dog in his house. You know?
Everything in Rockwell's home is not supposed to be there, apparently, but they're watching
there's
them.
stuff. There's like a broken vase that's just sitting there broken for no reason. Like, why is this? So there's just weirdness in the house. Like, what is going on? On the TV set, when he gets to the he comes out of the shower, he sees the TV set. There's a guy being tortured. There's a guy tied down to a chair, and there's a group of people in the room kind of torturing him, and then they turn and they look at the TV, they look at the screen at him,
Yeah.
and he runs. So clearly the people in the TV see him. He's now walking around in a suit. He's got like that old
Outfit
like
change midway through the
yes,
video.
out of nowhere. It's not even, it's like kind of like after the shower, we're kind of cutting back and forth. So he's walking around the house and got the skinny tie, looking like Eddie Murphy, And he's got the Jerry curl too.
That's what I said, man. There's a lot, dude. This
Yes,
video
it
is
is
very
the
wet.
very wet Jerry curl.
Dude,
It
there's
is.
a shot of him. I think when he's looking at the mailman and he's like on the balcony, dripping. And
he's dripping through most of the
I'm
video.
like, it's
yeah.
Soul Glow,
It's got the
100%.
Soul Glow drip. Yes,
100%. He's got that drip. I was so
100%
like,
Soul
why
Glow
is he
drip.
so moist? What is going on?
I don't know. I mean, I never had a Jerry curl. I never needed activator. I never maybe that stuff was just dripped all the time. Maybe it was just constantly
It's his
wet.
nerves. He's just nervous.
his
Somebody's
nerves. He's
watching him.
nervous.
Somebody's
He's nervous.
watching.
It's his
Somebody's
first
always
big
watching him.
video. Yeah.
He feels
First
like
big-
he's in the Twilight Zone, as the
Yes.
lyric says.
He says it. He says, yeah. So he said he has a vision of his own death and his burial at one point. So there's like a tombstone of his own tombstone in his own backyard. And there's this weird half naked guy just standing there as he is putting flowers on his own grave.
Yeah, which, funny
you
enough,
know-
two of your picks involve someone being buried alive or seeing
Yep.
their own death. That's what's really funny when we get to the second pick in a few.
Yeah. So in the shower, we keep going back to the shower. The shower, there's a clear curtain, which is kind of like, you can even almost evoking that feeling that there's always eyes on him. Even in the shower, there's nothing protecting him. He says he has no privacy. And we got the woman with the veil just kind of floating around. There's a guy with a stuff with a pig on a
It's so
on a
stupid.
platter just walking around.
Did you
There's a
mention
girl.
the mud face guy? Like that's sticking
Yeah,
through the
it's just there.
fucking
sitting at the
random monster zombie that pops up.
And what? Yeah, who's always looking through the front door?
Yeah, it's the
There's a-
only kind of like supernatural weird creature is that dude for some reason in the video.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The mailman's kind of weird
Yeah,
and supernatural
he is.
too.
You're right. He is.
That mailman is kind of freaky. Like he's just waving.
No, but like the other
mail at
guy
him. He's
looks like a monster.
The mailman's even bleeding. His hand is bleeding at one point. Like he's part zombie. It's kind of crazy.
It's just Rockwell having a nervous
so
breakdown.
weird.
What's the fear of never leaving your house?
I don't. Yeah.
What's it called? Agoraphobic.
Agoraphobia. Yeah.
Yeah, agoraphobia. That's what Rockwell is. This is what it feels like to have that
I
fear.
guess so. I guess so. You know, like at one point, the dog even has this weird kind of pig mask, and it reminds me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
That scene at the end where the dog has a human face.
Yeah.
You know, totally freaky like that. There's this weird woman just under his bed watching him. The dog with the pig face is watching him. The mailman is watching him. The zombies watching him through the Black Death veiled woman is like everybody's watching him. People outside are creepy. The mailman is creepy. He's teasing him with the mail.
Oh, man. This guy
yeah.
had a bender the night before, and this is him just fucking recovering the next day. He's taking that hot shower. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
and
stupid.
he's just watching everything watch him. You know, there's a head on the wall. There's a head on the coat rack. Dude, I don't know what he was smoking.
It's a great video. It's a great song. It's again, I think everyone, if you love Halloween, you're gonna hear this track at least once.
This is a Halloween video. Like it's so creepy.
And I don't think a lot of people have seen it. I feel like the song is super popular, but I'm sure if you ask anyone like, "Hey, have you ever seen the video for this song?" I can see a good chunk of people not knowing about Rockwell.
But if you have seen it, you
me.
remember it.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is
if
like
you have seen it, you remember this.
You know what? And I know we're only two videos in, 3 videos in technically with my honorable mention, but all these videos feel like something you would see in Stay Tuned. Like just what would play on Hell TV. Like just bizarre. And Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me is definitely bizarre. I do want to know if there was someone on set with a spray bottle just fucking hosing my man down, like
Constantly
between
spraying him.
Dude, he's so moist. Like the whole video.
He's wet.
I know I've said
dripping.
it a couple of times, but he's dripping.
The activator is just.
Dude, he's showering. He's dripping sweat. He's fucking hyperventilating. Somebody's watching him. I get it, man.
Watching him.
All right, so I'll jump into my next one. I don't have a lot to say because there's really not much in this video. Oh, there's a lot. But it's pretty self-explanatory. So my second pick for spooky music videos is Hellraiser from Motorhead. From the 1992 album March or Die, or the Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth soundtrack, which is I think what most horror fans, most of us obviously know it for. And this is another video. I think everyone knows the song, but I don't think the video gets enough love. In just how this word's going to be said a bunch. Ridiculous it is. So obviously we got Lemmy there. Got all of Motorhead performing on a stage. They've got candles lit everywhere. Really, the ambiance is set. They're like inside of the it looks like a dungeon of a castle or some shit.
Yeah.
And we're getting shots of the audience watching Motorhead's performance. And who's watching? Who's hanging out in the crowd watching Motorhead perform Hellraiser? But Pinhead himself. He decides to the visual of Pinhead just going, "Hey guys," and walking into this auditorium and taking a seat. He's just there. Like I think about it, like Pinhead bought a ticket to go see Motorhead perform Hellraiser. That's what's happening here. But there's a
I don't know if he
gentleman.
bought it. I mean, he's one of those guys who just kind of gets what he wants when he asks for it.
Someone was fucking around with the puzzle box, and they messed around with it and summoned him, and he was like, "Oh, Motorhead's playing. I'll take a seat." Because he's literally sitting. It's not even like he's in the back all menacing. He's sitting amongst other people. It's the visual of it is quintessential horror cheese. Like what you think, like MTV. This was the 90s, so this wasn't 80s, but early 90s cheese. What you think of like Dream Warriors doc, and that's what this is. Pinhead is just there watching Motorhead. There's a dude in the audience, not in the audience,
Got
in the
his own
audience.
seat and everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
bought a ticket, like I said. There's a dude in the audience sitting there. Pinhead just doesn't like him. So he's like, I'm going to fuck with this guy. He takes him. There's not really Cenobites. It's like these dirty, weird people that grab.
Yeah. 9 Inch Nail music video extras.
They couldn't get CD Head or Barbie or the guy with the camera in his head. They got these random extras, dirtied them up, and they're like, all right, guys, you will do. And they take the guy, and then Pinhead pours this white liquid on him. I'm not quite sure what's happening at this point in the music video because we're seeing this, and then we're cutting to clips from Hellraiser 3.
From Hellraiser 3.
From the movie, which you need in every music video from a movie, like any song from a movie.
Hey, we did it ourselves, man. We even did it.
Of course. Now here's where the video is phenomenal. This is where it peaks. This is where it gets good. Pinhead enters the room after the debauchery he just calls on this random fucking guy in the crowd. And Lemmy decides to walk in the same room. Pinhead goes, Lemmy, let's play poker? Or a card game? That is the bargain that I guess Pinhead had with Lemmy. Like, look, bro, if you beat me in poker or in fucking Go Fish, I'll let you go.
It's a seventh seal.
Yes.
You know.
But I don't think anyone else would take.
It's an Ingmar Bergman thing.
I don't think a normal viewer would take it that way, Manny. I do not.
You say that. You say that, but I mean, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey just did this. So, I think that now we're like 60 years off of that movie. I think people don't get it, but I think back then, I think it was still fairly well-known film at the time.
And look what you just said. Bill and Ted Bogus Journey just did it. I never took Pinhead as the type of guy that's like 3 out of 7. Like I never thought, I never, whatever the hell he's the best of 7. I never took Pinhead as
9?
Best of
Damn
9.
right.
Damn right. I never took Pinhead as that type of guy. In none of the films he does that. So I thought it's really interesting. But here's the kick.
You know what? You say that, but at the same time, how many times did Kirsty make a deal with him?
Yeah.
Like he was always willing to negotiate with her. He couldn't negotiate with anybody else.
No,
but he negotiated
just
with
her.
Kirsty for some fucking reason.
Because she was a babe, respectfully. That's why.
I don't know, man. The girls in part 3 are much babier.
Okay.
Much babier. That's not the right
Respectfully
word.
to them as well.
They are much more of babes than
They're a next degree of babedom.
Different level, yes.
Different level of
Babedom.
babedom. Respectfully, once again. But we just talked about her on an Anthology Obscura episode covering an episode of Monsters, the candle game or the match game. Sorry, but yes. So they're playing this game, and they're going back and forth, flipping cards. It's getting tense. We're cutting to clips from the movie. Lemmy pulls a card, and for some reason, he pulls a Motorhead Joker card, which is the winning card of said game.
Of course it is. Because of course it is.
Because of course. That's the only thing that can defeat. Pinhead looks fucking pissed off. He's upset. He's fucking tight. He's not happy. He just looks at Lemmy like, you motherfucker.
I mean, William Sadler was pretty pissed when Bill and Ted beat him too. So it's
at
one
this
of those
point,
things.
we're comparing death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey to Pinhead in the Hellraiser Motorhead music video.
Where the day takes you,
Yes,
my friend.
exactly.
Where the day takes you.
And Pinhead is upset. And he is disrespected by Lemmy. And Lemmy just looks at him and he's just like, don't fuck with me, dude. Lemmy has defeated Pinhead
Because Lemmy is God.
Because Lemmy is
Lemmy
God.
is God.
This video is amazing. I love it. I was watching literally like a month or two ago, I was watching a random music video channel, I think on Amazon or something that they have. It's all like metal music videos. This went on randomly, and I had forgotten about it completely. And you should have seen the smile on my face revisiting how stupid it is. But I love every second of it. The visual of Lemmy just playing cards with Pinhead. Fantastic. I love it. It's fucking Lemmy. He is the one person that this is believable. They should. I'm surprised he didn't show up in Hellraiser 3. I'm surprised he didn't have a cameo. So, great music video. Great song. I love it. I love the Ozzy version that came out before this too. That's fucking awesome too. And this was when Pinhead went MTV. This was Pinhead at his most Freddy Krueger. This was when he was a rock metal icon. And this was probably peak Pinhead. This is when he hit his ceiling.
That was it.
And then this is when he started to fall from grace. So we'll leave it at that. Manny, what is your next pick?
Next pick is Madonna's video for Bedtime Story.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. This is a weird, crazy, this album, the Ray of Light album, it's probably her most experimental album.
Was this Ray of Light or was this Bedtime Story? I thought this was the self-titled Bedtime Story.
I thought it was Ray of Light.
No, I think it's Bedtime Story.
Oh, okay. Either way, this was her experimental period then.
Yes.
Where she did really weird. Yeah, she went really weird and experimental. She got very electronic, and
Bjork wrote this song.
Really? I didn't know that, but that explains
when you listen, and I don't mean to jump in. When you
explains a lot.
When you listen to this song and watch the video, Madonna just basically was like, Bjork, I'm taking your gimmick. Gimmick infringement.
You know what? Madonna is like David Bowie.
Yeah.
You know, where they changed with the time, and that's why they were always just iconic.
No, for sure.
You know, Prince, same thing. They changed their sound. They tried different things. If music was going in a direction, they said, you know what, I'm going to go with it. And you know, even Chris Cornell did that at times. He changed his sound as time progressed. Not this. Actually, you know what? No, the Scream album, he had heard the Missy Elliott album, and he said, I want to do something that sounds like that.
Yeah, he wanted to change up what he was doing. That makes sense.
It was the most different thing he does. Like, I'd never heard anything like this. And he called Timbaland and got him, and they did an album together. Chris Cornell did an album with Timbaland. A lot of people don't really know it. It didn't go. It had one big single, Scream. It didn't go very far. And then he went right back into the rock sound after that. But honestly, I love it. I think it's one of his best albums. And The Ray of Light and the Bedtime Story, this was one of my favorite periods of Madonna because it was experimental and different. And I absolutely love it. This video is, I think, the pinnacle of that weird experimental, nature of her. And she's still a little, even Cher got electronic.
They were all doing that, I think, at this point. In like that mid to late 80s, early 2000s, they were all sort of experimenting with like that dance techno club music.
Yeah. And
especially with Madonna. Like I you said, Ray of Light was an album that she had that one song, Nothing Really Matters or whatever. That's really... That also sounds like more upbeat Bjork as well, in a way.
Frozen, the video that it looked like a Nine Inch Nails video.
That song is sick. Frozen is sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I absolutely love this whole period of her, and this video, like I said, I think is the pinnacle of it. It's just so weird.
Dude.
It's just so weird.
The shot of her face inside of two mirrors. It's like it's two bodies, a mirror in each head, and it's just Madonna looking at herself. It's all subliminal. You can tell there's like subliminal imagery and stuff throughout the whole video.
It starts off with like this she's in this really futuristic, like, it kind of reminds me of Minority Report, of the pool that they're laying in. You know, that the psychics are laying in. It's got that Minority Report kind of look, very futuristic thing where it seems like this machine is reading her dreams, or recording her dreams. Again, very Minority Report. It looks that way. We're back to more weird liquid dripping.
She's not
We're back to that
sweaty
again.
and it doesn't
No,
have
she's not sweaty.
soul glow in her hair, but
She's not sweaty, but
yeah.
it implies that there's some type of IV or something that's keeping her maybe unconscious as it's recording her dreams. And somewhere between like the Lawnmower Man and Minority Report, we move into this virtual world of her dreams. And her dreams are freaking weird, man.
Yeah.
You know, the main section of the video, she's just there in front of this octopus kind of sunflower. It's a sunflower with arms that just, float around her. And then there's these Tibetan looking, I don't know, I wouldn't call them monks, but I mean, I think that's the inspiration for them, that are just kind of floating around the room and spinning.
Yeah.
And they're just spinning. They're just floating and spinning as she sings. And she's sitting floating in a pool with like crow's skulls floating in the pool with her as she's looking up at this dark city looking guy who's just talking to her.
Random Dark City guy in the video.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
And then there's occasionally words from like actual lyrics of the song on screen. Words are useless, especially sentences. Well, then how do we use words if sentences are the most useless? How are we meant to use the words?
Don't question it, man. It's Madonna.
Don't question. That's it. She just, we have these kind of Lovecraftian looking, like mutated people who are just there. And this weird little boy or girl, I'm not quite sure, with the blonde hair that's pushing glass around on the table. Like there's a vase and she's just pushing it. I don't know. There's a scene where she's sitting in kind of this room, and it's very shadowy. One light illuminates her, and there's a skeleton hugging her.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite visual outside of the one where which you haven't gotten to yet, with her face with the mouth and all that on it. But the skeleton shot is really bizarre. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
The whole video is just, it's like such pure dream logic where none of it really makes sense. And it adds up to just really creepy visuals. There's the weird cube that's floating around with her face in it, there's the doves that fly out of her stomach, that just birth 100 doves come flying out of her stomach, and the beam of light that comes out of her head. There's the weird people on the rotating platforms. I don't know. There's a 1984 style room of the Dark City people who are just watching her with a black wig.
You said dream logic is basically that's what it is. The shot of her face with the mouth in one and the eye down at the bottom, and
that's where it ends. The video ends with this shot of her where they've replaced her eyes with mouths, and then her mouth with her eye as she sings the last.
I want to know what that means. I want to know what that means. What did that represent, Madonna? I want to know. What does that mean?
I don't think even she knew, really.
Someone wrote this script for this music video, and she was just like, "This looks awesome." Whatever.
Yeah. It was Madonna. It was really popular, and like we said at that time, a lot of people did weird, creepy videos. A lot of big artists did this, and for some odd reason. That was just like the late 90s. This is what happened. Things got weird. I think the advent of computer graphics being better, looking good, really made artists just go, I can do anything.
Yeah, it's just all experimentation with visuals. That's probably what they're doing. At this time, I think she had just released the book Bedtime Story, if I remember correctly. I think it
Okay.
was like a
Yeah,
book and an
probably.
album or something like that. She's released a couple books. She had a couple like photography books. Wasn't one called Sex, if I remember correct, or
Well,
Erotic?
Sex was early
That was
90s.
early 90s, right? Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
that was
this might
way
have been a
early
book
90s.
as
Her and
well.
when she was with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I believe it might have been a book and an album and all that stuff. And then, like I said, Bjork wrote this song, and Bjork has a lot of trippy shit. So that tracks, like it
Yeah.
tracks that it's, Bjork wrote the song, the video's weird. It kind of all adds up when you think about it. And again, it was Madonna. I'm pretty sure this is Madonna right before Ray of Light. So this was when
It
she was
was.
like sort of transitioning into that
This
version.
was looking at it. That album wasn't as experimental. It was a little had Human Nature on this one. You're
Yeah.
right. It was Bedtime Stories had Human Nature, where it was all S&M, like
Yeah.
latex in the video, and yeah, and that was 94. Ray of Light was 98. Clearly, Ray of Light took what this song did and continued, because it also that this album also had Take a Bow, which had the Matador. It was very traditional Madonna,
Yeah.
that. So Bedtime Stories was clearly where she was starting to get a little experimental, and Ray of Light was the culmination of that. And I think Bedtime Story was where it started. Like she got the bug in her with that song and that video. I think Ray of Light is a direct descendant of that's why I thought this was part of that album.
Yeah.
I completely forgot the whole album was called Bedtime Story.
This is the type of video, to focus on the music video,
Mm-hmm.
where if you're taking any type of hallucinogen, you
No.
are screwed.
Yeah, done,
You're done. Do not watch this if you are into the hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll end up in the fucking. You're gonna think one of your eyeballs is turning into a mouth. It is
Yeah.
just odd and
Yeah.
weird looking.
This leads me to one of my honorable mentions. Okay. Which is one of my favorite videos of all time. And the only reason I'm giving an honorable mention is because I can go on with this forever, because the what it is. Oh, I love this. It's The Box Part 2 by The Orbital.
Okay.
They were an electronic group. It was The Box Part 2. They had 5 parts of this song, and only Part 2 had a music video. In total, it's like 35 or 40 minutes, all 5 tracks together.
Okay.
Only Part 2 had a music video, as far as I'm aware of. And do you know the video? And I didn't prepare you for this one.
I'm not familiar with this one. Orbital, don't they have a song either in Mortal Kombat or Blade? I think it might be Mortal Kombat.
I'm pretty sure they were in Blade. They were
Yeah,
hackers.
one of them. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it might be Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they were techno
Yeah.
group. Techno. I think much faster and heavier, but they were an electronic group. I think they still are, but they were on a lot of soundtracks in the 90s.
Yeah.
They were on a lot of soundtracks. I think they're the last song in the old closing credits of Hackers.
That
They're-
makes sense.
Yeah, because they were mostly instrumental. The Box Part 5 actually has lyrics. But we're not going to get into that. That's why I said I'm only going to make this an honorable mention, because there's so much more to this. But the video itself is a woman walking through the streets, and everything's moving really fast around her as she moves really slowly through it. And this was in 1996. The woman is Tilda Swinton.
Oh, I had to watch this video.
Yes. Now, I've always loved this video, and I always wondered when I was young, I want to see this. I want to see her movies. Like, I want to see stuff from her. I had no idea who she was until I don't remember what movie it was. I saw her and I recognized her, and I said, I swear to God, that's the woman from the Orbital video that I've been watching forever. And sure enough, it was. And clearly, everybody knows who Tilda Swinton is. This video is super eerie, super creepy. It's the whole meaning behind it is just that there's this woman who's basically kind of having anxiety over how fast the world is going around her, and she's seeing the war and crazy things happening on a set of TVs. And this is why I say it's one of my favorite videos, because there's actually a shot in this music video that is the inspiration for the poster of Dark Tales from Channel X.
Ah, okay. Which is
And
your
there's a
movie,
clip.
in case anyone
It's
doesn't
just my
know.
own movie. Yes, which is my own film. Is
Yeah.
a scene, is a shot of her finding a bunch of TVs in a store window, and she walks and puts her hand up on it, and she stares into the screens. And in one of the screens, there's a bunch of images that come through, almost like Clockwork Orangey,
Yeah.
you know, um, bunch of images that come through, and it stops on "Monsters Exist," and she just
Hmm.
gets this pure look of dread. And in out my own um bumper, my Massgrave Pictures bumper for our, Massgrave Pictures, my production company, for
Yeah.
those who don't know, in the bumper, there's a flash of one frame that says "Monsters Exist."
Ah,
This
okay.
video, this
That
video
was
has
the
inspired,
inspiration.
yes, this video inspired so much. It was always so creepy and so eerie to me because it evoked a feeling.
All these
And I'm
years I've
gonna,
known you, I did not know this
yeah,
was the
I'm,
inspiration for that. So, wow.
yes, we all see it. When you go watch this video,
I'm
you'll
gonna
see it
watch
like,
it.
holy shit, I've seen this a million times in my work.
Wow. Yeah. I
It's
didn't even
there.
know. You didn't even tell me we were gonna pick this, so I didn't even get a
Yeah,
chance to see
it
it.
was
So
something. It
makes
came to
sense.
me. It came to me earlier while I was doing the bedtime story, and just the idea. So we'll maybe get into this another time, but the feeling that this evokes, I will get into in my next pick. My next two picks, actually. So
This is and to continue on, this is where my picks start to get all artsy and abstract and weird going forward. My next three, and I'll try to kind of we'll try to run through these so we're not here for 5 hours. But my next pick is from everyone's favorite, maybe not in 2024. Some people hate him for reasons. Marilyn Manson
yeah,
and the song "Crypter Kid," which
Crypto.
I learned. I've been calling it Crypter Child for some reason, but it's Crypter Kid from the 1996 album Antichrist Superstar. Probably still his best album, in my opinion, is Antichrist Superstar. It's the album that blew him up. And people my age, a little older, maybe even a little younger, Marilyn Manson was kind of our gateway into heavy music and weird alternative stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
So I still to this day, I still, those first 4 or 5 Marilyn Manson albums, I'll still listen to them straight through. Antichrist Superstar is one of them. I think the album from beginning to end, fantastic. But I'm not here talking about Antichrist Superstar. I'm talking about the music video for Crypter Kid. Now, this music video, there's not much to it if you're familiar with the film Begotten. So there's a movie, which was I guess, Manny, what would you call it? Like an art house movie? It's experimental film.
One of my favorite horror films.
And Manny, and I know Manny, I've only ever seen this once, and it's with you, and it was like
Yeah.
a long time ago, so I barely remember it. But the music video for Crypter Kid is basically footage. So Marilyn Manson had the director Elias, I believe it's Elias Merger? Merhige?
Elias
Yeah.
Merhige.
Elias Merhige. He had him, because he was a big fan of the film Begotten, direct this music video. But this music video is basically footage from the 1989 film.
Basically put Manson into the
Yeah,
film.
he basically, because the movie's how long? Like an hour, if I remember correctly? It's like an hour and 5
about
minutes.
An hour and 5, hour
Yeah.
10.
And I wouldn't call it a movie that's an easy watch if you're not into that type of stuff. It's a very visual piece.
Most of the soundtrack is crickets chirping.
Yeah. It's and on the
like
since
75 minutes of crickets chirping.
since we're on Begotten, the entire film, it's so eerie, so creepy. You can play that at a Halloween party on loop,
100%.
and that's the perfect background ambiance. I think it's on YouTube because the movie has never had a physical release, which blows my mind.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, but I don't
It
think
had
a Blu-ray
VHS.
of
It
Blu-ray.
had a VHS and a DVD. No, it
No
has
Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been remastered, I think, the last I read.
No.
It's not a film that's been remastered, special edition, and all that stuff. I know he had there was a tour where he had screenings of it and all that stuff. But the movie for a long time was kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like there was bootlegs and stuff like that. That's how people watched it.
It was a missing
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
And it's a creepy fucking movie. You're gonna finish when you're done with it. Like, what the hell did I just watch? Because it's just an eerie, strange
It was the
movie.
inspiration for the movie Mother.
Yes, which is crazy.
Darren Aronofsky's Mother is the
I'd-
same story.
I'd rather
So
watch Begotten, if I'm being honest with you, than watch Mother. But
really, I love Mother.
I enjoyed it, but I like
Oh,
Begotten's cooler. But
okay.
yeah, the whole video for
That's
Crypto
something to
Kid,
talk about one day.
one
Ooh,
day, yeah.
I love Mother.
No,
Oh,
I enjoyed it, but yeah, I
okay,
digress.
whatever.
So basically, the video is just footage from that, and they spliced in shots of Marilyn Manson
Yeah,
being ominous and weird. A lot
yeah.
of
There's
it's
a
all
very
black and white. It's all black and white, really crushed, really contrasty. It's. I first saw this music video when I bought the God is on the TV
mhm.
VHS that Manson released. Maybe 99, 2000. It was when I was really into Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
So I bought it at Sam Goody, I think. And on this VHS were all of his music videos up until that point. And this was one of them. I had never seen it until I bought that. This didn't really, I never saw his music video on TV
No. Oh,
until the
I mean,
VHS. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it aired
It's,
a,
dude,
a couple of times, like in the middle of the night. I know that it was on the
possibly.
box. You could watch it on the box. I
Yeah.
watched it there.
I didn't see it until I got the Goddess on the TV VHS. And there I watched it for the first time. And I remember one night I had this on and I think I was half asleep. And then my next two picks kind of had that effect on me. I was half asleep and I think it gave me nightmares. Just the visuals of like the guy screaming and like it's hard to like, articulate what it's just weird shit that you're seeing with Marilyn Manson being Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
And he's kind
Well,
of static in a lot of it.
the
So
movie itself is about there's a woman who gives birth to this full-sized
man,
creature,
yeah,
and
it's
then the creature is dragged away by these like druids who torture it, and the whole thing is an
it's an
allegory
allegory,
for
right?
yeah, for Mother Earth giving birth to man, and then the trials and tribulations of the history of man. So Marilyn Manson basically made himself in the video the creature of man
Yeah.
being
There's like that
tortured.
shot of him just standing there.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a little awkward that he was so full of himself at this point that he was like, you know what I want you to do? Put me in the video as
Well,
this character. But it makes sense if he hired
it makes sense because
Elias to
because
direct
what the
it.
original plan was.
Yeah.
Like Antichrist Superstar was supposed to be part of a trilogy of albums that he was going to do. And he only, I mean technically it is. It's Antichrist Superstar, then Mechanical Animals, then Hollywood. And this is this is the man the sorry, the story he's telling is about this guy who becomes a huge rock star, and he's the antichrist to the world,
Yeah.
and that's the Antichrist Superstar. And Mechanical Animals is when he sells out to become, you know, the glam rocker. And then Hollywood is when he realizes everything's been gone wrong, and he just goes back to his old ways, and eventually is forgotten by, you know, pop culture and dies. That's the story. He wanted to make a movie out of it.
That makes
so,
sense. I could see
so
that.
yeah. So the fact that he wanted to do this video and put him into it, it
it's
totally
cool.
makes sense.
It's cool, and I'm sure this was not hard to put together because the movie itself visually is horrific, and then you're just splicing in Marilyn Manson, which you can tell when you look at it that it doesn't quite match, but that's kind of its charm. How bizarre
Yeah.
it is that he's been basically placed
Yeah.
into the video and just
Yeah.
it's just weird. Again, this to me, the entire film, Begotten, and this music video are really eerie, and I think you show this to anybody, they're going to be taken back by it and be like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
really fucking creepy." So that's why I think it's perfect for like the Halloween season just to have playing. And anyone that's listening, watching, whatever, if you've never watched Begotten, give it a chance. It is a trip. It's crazy. It's really fucking weird. But that's kind of I think that's what it was trying to achieve. This music video and the film that was used to inspire it is just to make you feel uneasy and just confused and creeped out. So Marilyn Manson, Crypto Kid, that's my third pick. Manny,
Yeah.
what's your next one?
My next one is not a video, not a music video specific, but it was a release. The Nine Inch Nails Closure videotape. It was a double cassette videotape. I don't think it's ever been released on DVD either.
Yeah. I don't
I
think either
don't
one of
know.
those guys. It's funny how we went from Marilyn Manson to Nine Inch Nails. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. So the first tape on it is I think it's a bunch of live stuff, and then the second one is all their music videos and other things cut in the middle. Like they have segues that go from one video to the next, and a lot of those are really really creepy. You know, the videos from Downward Spiral,
It's a
like
great video.
yeah, you know, the video from oh my god, like the main song. I
Closer.
want to closer,
Yeah.
closer. Yeah, because I got closure in my brain.
Yeah,
So
Closer's that works. I'm sure most people like during Halloween, if they just want creepy visuals, they just play Closer from Nine Inch Nails.
yeah.
So
There's one section on that where they play two live videos more or less back to back, which is Eraser and Hurt. Okay. And okay. It's haunting. This is so like to me, this is pure this whole section is haunting and creepy as hell. And it's always been stuck in the back of my head. The images, just like Begotten, just like the orbital, the box. These are videos that have just there's images burned into my brain, and I'm never gonna forget them. You know, and they kind of have influence on me and myself. Everything. So the live clips themselves. The video came out in '97. I think the clips are from a tour in '95. Mostly wide shots because we have the band on stage standing behind a curtain that's the size of the entire stage. And the curtain is kind of like it's sheer so you can see through it. And there's a projection on them. Pink Floyd does this, Tool does this, Nine Inch Nails do it. And they all have their own little flair of how they do it. And Nine Inch Nails' flair is they have a theme of the end of the world in general. So they stood behind the giant projection screen and they play during the video. The songs are Eraser and Hurt. And they play, there are clips of death and decay, things rotting. There's open field, like a big empty desert, kind of looks like shots from Natural Born Killers, you know, because this is at the same time he had just done the Natural Born Killers soundtrack, and a lot of the images in that had influenced some of this. There's a fox that's decomposing, and they play the video in reverse.
see that visual I remember.
Yeah,
I remember the
they play it
reverse
forward.
decomposing fox. Yeah.
The fox.
I thought
the
it was a
snake.
dog at first.
No, it's a fox because it's
Yeah.
all desert. It's all
Yeah.
desert shots. So it's a fox. There's a shot of the snake that just stares at you during Hurt. You know, that shot is actually in Natural Born Killers. Some of this footage is from Natural Born Killers. There's a fox. There's a snake. Victims of war. There's shots of that. There's a burned out children's playground. Yeah, it's if you really watch this, it's,
I gotta watch this because
Yeah.
this also I have not seen yet, so I gotta check
I mean,
this out.
you've seen it because you've seen the closure.
Some of
so
the-
you probably
yeah.
just haven't seen it in a long
It's
time.
been a
Again,
long
I know
time, yeah.
I was originally gonna talk today about
Perfect drug.
the perfect drug,
Yeah.
but this is so much more different.
I had this, but I don't know where it is. The double cassette. It's brown with the plastic around it.
Somehow I have two copies. I'll give you one if you want it.
I think I have it somewhere. It's probably in my VHS box, like in storage or
Probably.
something like that. So
No,
it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's images of entropy, and it creates this complete feeling of despair. I've been watching horror movies my whole life, okay, and I feel like I'm desensitized to a lot, and I know you are. You
Most
feel the
of
same.
us are, yeah.
Really desensitized to a lot, but the feeling of existential dread is something that I can't shake.
Of course.
When I have it, that's there, you know, and I like movies that trigger that, like Eden Lake does that.
Yeah.
Eden Lake triggers that existential dread. Begotten triggers.
Yeah, I was
that
about to say
feeling in
Begotten.
me.
We just talked about a movie that triggers that.
Yep. And the combination of these two live performances and the images, these two songs specifically, Eraser and Hurt, I think on the album, it's Downward Spiral, then Reptile, Eraser, and Hurt. That is like four of the greatest back to back tracks on an album ever. Um, but the combination of them with these images triggers that feeling in me, and it's just that's horror as far as I'm concerned. That is horror. That is spooky. That is creepy. That's it.
I've got
Nine
to
Inch
I've got to
Nails.
revisit these.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're up on YouTube. I
Oh, yeah,
guarantee
I
it.
actually have it playing right now.
The whole thing
You
is probably up
you
there.
can't tell, but in the TikTok video, I'm taking the music videos and putting them in front of the screen every so
Oh,
often.
cool. Yeah,
The whole
no.
time while we've been.
I have to revisit that. I haven't watched. I'm pretty sure I have those VHS tapes. It's been probably 15 years since I last watched them. So I definitely want to. I have to revisit that entire performance. That's the whole thing from beginning to end. So I have to go watch. That's a good pick. Impromptu, but that's a good pick.
Yes.
So my next pick, and I have a funny kind of story from what I can remember. My next pick. Again, we're getting really mine progressively just gets stranger and strange. Like
Yeah.
as we continue,
It's all right.
it
Because
just
my
gets-
next one's going to be real quick.
Yeah.
Because I don't have too much to say. It's just see what it is, you know. But, so
So-
my next one's going to be fast. So
My next one is the song and the video "Schism" from Tool. You mentioned Tool, so there you
one of
go.
my
There-
favorite bands.
no, same here. I love Tool. From the album Lateralis, a great album from beginning to end. Well, 46 and 2 is on there too, right? That's is that Schism?
No.
Is that's not Lateralis? Which one's that? That's
It's
the next
Anima.
one. Anima. Yeah, you're right.
Previous.
Nonetheless, both albums are good. And the song video Schism, I remember this playing on MTV heavily in 2002.
Oh yes.
When they would play overnight music videos and they would have like that moon and they would just play music videos all night, I'd sleep with the TV on and leave MTV on in hopes that they would play a music video I liked and it wasn't like fucking Backstreet Boys or some shit. And I remember vividly this playing. And I have this strange memory where in 2002, I was in high school. So I met Manny that year. So there you go. I have a memory of seeing this video playing and waking up in the middle of the night and just telling myself, what the hell is what the
What's
fuck?
happening?
What is this? Like, I did not like it. And I have another memory. I was with a friend
did
of
not
mine.
like it.
I did like it because I love the music. I was like, oh shit. I had gotten into Tool around this time. I was a little bit later to Tool. And this is where I learned about Tool, funny enough. So I had another friend of mine. I remember he was staying over or something. You have sleepovers when you're a teenager. Like two friends of mine, I think, stayed over. And this video went on, and my friend was like, yo, what the fuck is this? What is this video? It's so weird. He's like, no, turn it off. Because it is, we're like 16. It's just, weird. And I was like, I enjoyed it because I just thought it was so weird. But seeing it alone at 4 a.m. when you're 15, 16, whatever, it is a little eerie. So in the video, you've got these two gray, bluish aliens that are obviously
Prometheus creatures.
Yeah, they're obviously portrayed by contortionists.
Yes.
Like you can just tell by their movement. And I think one is supposed to be female and the other one male, just by they don't have genitalia, but you can just tell one's a woman,
the
one's
feeling.
one's a man, one's a woman. The woman has like these red veins coming out of her head, vine type things coming out of her head. And it's just weird. She's kind of walking through the rooms all creepy, and he's just standing there still. They're going through the ground. She's picking him up like he's a mannequin. Pushing him, moving him across the like almost like he's floating above the. It's strange. Then at one point,
Tool's videos don't really have too much of a narrative. They're just weird images.
Yeah.
That, I mean, there is a narrative, but there's you have to know what the hell the thought was, like the little one sentence idea he had that they just turned into this. You know, it's all weird performance art type stuff. I've never gotten performance art.
No.
I think this video is a lot of that.
I mean, I'm sure.
A lot of what we're talking about today is.
Yeah, I'm sure it means something. We just don't know. or just we haven't looked it up. But she starts taking apart the male alien. Then there's this little claymation creature inside of her that emerges and erupts from her. She pulls him out. Then the two aliens merge into this weird Cenobite, speaking of Pinhead, Cenobite creature that looks like a mannequin. Then fire erupts in the room. I don't know what any of this shit means. The thing that really creeped me out is when they're
15-year-old you
Yes.
is just having a conniption.
but the song was so good, and the fucking song is amazing. That scene of them walking together through the rooms, and they're like, it's hard to, they're walking almost like like not hyenas, like apes.
Yeah,
but
they're
their
like
heads are moving. Just creepy. It's
He
just a
did that
creepy
in
shot.
Poughkeepsie Tapes is the creepiest shot when he does that.
Yes, it's just
The
a
creepiest
weird
shot of the movie.
It's like when you're walking on all fours, but your head's moving as you move. It's hard to articulate here, but when you watch the video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just bizarre. And to see it at 15 at 2 a.m. when you're half asleep, it makes it even worse. It just doesn't.
It's weird.
It's just weird. And this, too, I could easily see being re-edited with a different song. You can re-edit this footage to something completely
there's
different.
no band. They haven't been in one of their videos since the first album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a creepy ass video. And I honestly, like watching it now, it's not as creepy, but I could see someone that kind of gets creeped out easily this video now, and them being like, nah, man, turn that off. It's going to give me nightmares because it's just fucking weird. That one shot where the female alien's finger like just her hand is raising out and she's kind of poking or pointing, and the shadows behind her. It's a beautiful looking music video, and they use claymation and they use CGI and they use practical effects and all this stuff, but it has an uncanny valley. I said that word earlier. This video has that. There's something uncanny bouncing between the actual actors and the mannequins and the props, and just weird. I love it. Song is sick. Album is sick. It's great stuff. So I feel like I could talk about Tool forever, and all of Tool's music videos are strange and creepy and weird. So this is only one of many. The sober video's creepy too, but I don't want to get into that here. Maybe they'll pop up
Adam
again.
Jones is an effects artist. He teaches an effects class at UCLA, I think, too.
Yeah.
So he did all the videos himself, and obviously they're huge fans of the Quay brothers.
Yeah.
Which, if you like these videos and you've never seen Quay brothers movies by the Quay brothers, go the brothers Quay. Actually, I think they call themselves. Go look up brothers Quay movies, and if you like Tool videos, you're gonna love their stuff. They clearly, Kurt Cobain accused them of ripping off the Quay brothers.
Oh wow.
Says that they ripped them off. He actually wanted the Quays to direct the video for Heart Shaped Box, I think. Or
another strange video.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he wanted them and he couldn't get them. So it was that or another song. Maybe I think it was another song that they wanted, and they ended up just doing a live video for it, like In Bloom or something. I don't know. He wanted the brothers Quay to do a video for them, and they couldn't do it, so they did something different. And then Tool went and did this, and he said, he literally said something to the effect of the Quays should sue them. Because nobody does what the Quay. I don't know if you've ever seen their films.
I've heard of them. I'm not that familiar with them, but I think I've seen some of their stuff because I remember hearing about it.
Yeah,
because of the music videos.
If you watch them and you're like, wow, they've been doing this since the 80s, and now you look at Tool's videos, like, yep, you ripped off the brothers Quay 100%.
Hey, man.
Like the characters look the same. Like the design is the same.
I gotta watch it. That I haven't seen, where the designs are exactly the same. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah,
I like how you mentioned Heart Shaped Box because I almost picked that, but maybe in the future we'll come back to that one. So I don't want to get into that one too much because that's another really eerie, strange video that I could tell a funny story about that one too.
Yeah.
But we'll continue. Manny, next video.
Next one, I'm going to go through this real quick because we've been here a while, and my last one's probably going to be long. This is we're in the 90s. I think we're staying in the 90s.
Yes.
Soundgarden Black Hole Sun. Look, just watch it.
Yes.
It's another one where it's about that kind of existential dread, the end of the world. It's about a black hole sucking the earth into itself, and everything slowly stretches one bit at a time. The band is playing in this weird in this field of like flowers, and there's an apocalyptic group of people coming. The end is near, and then there's does this very 1950s style standard like Americana, but everything is weird and twisted and very David Lynch.
Yeah.
Very David Lynch. What is the word? I can't think of the word. Doesn't matter. You know, the juxtaposition of normal but weird. You know, I can't think of the word.
Those shots of their faces being stretched and their mouth, like the smiles growing, all that is
scared the hell out
Yeah,
of me.
dude.
This was so
even the
creepy.
dog.
And
The dog
you know
gets
something?
one too.
And do you know, and I don't, and I should have, I just thought of this now, but I remember very clearly, and I should have looked it up. I said I completely forgot about it until this very moment. There was a version that aired because I'm pretty sure it was on VH1 because VH1 always had edited versions of things. If you remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
They always had edited versions. Like they took the rap. They always took Left Eye's parts out of the TLC songs. You know, they took the reggae part out of the Sugar Ray song. You know, they always did that. VH1 always had edited versions.
They were
of
anti-rap.
well, you know what? It was the rap song. It was the reggae version of the
Yeah.
reggae parts of things. They took
That's
any of the
bizarre.
hip hop and R&B out of the songs whenever they
Boo.
aired them. Yeah, very weird. And they had a version of Black Hole Sun where people's faces didn't stretch.
What?
Yes, there was a non-stretching version of
I
the
did
song.
not know that. I only know
And
the
I
stretching
remember it
version.
at the time when because you always had to watch things and you had to record them because you have to watch it again. So
Yeah.
oh, here it comes, and hit record on the video. And I remember once I recorded it and I'm like, what is this? This is not the full video.
This isn't the creepy version.
Yep, this isn't the creepy version. And so yeah, I don't know why or how they did that, but they did. There's
That
so
what I
much
always
weird-
remember about it was the stretched smiles
Yes.
and eyes, and it happens to the dog, to the little
There's
girl,
the
to
centerfold
everybody.
who has got like the snake tongue, and
Yeah.
there's the weird moths that are floating, and everybody's flying up into the sky, and the little girl's face is stretching, and oh god, the boiling over of this. The video is just crazy. It's really just about it's just about the end of the world and everything's being pulled into the black hole, and it's kind of the theory of the event horizon of spaghettification, where when you hit the point of the event horizon where you can't, it will pull you apart atom by atom. So they kind of just took that and made it more visual, where things are all being stretched to a weird, over exaggerated something.
Everyone's just creepy and smiling in the video. It's a great song is sick.
Yes, it's very
Video's
surreal.
sick. Yeah, it's weird. The fact
And it's
that
an amazing song. This song won them. I think they won a Grammy for this. They won the music video awards off
Yeah.
of this. They won this song took Soundgarden, as if they weren't already a huge band at the time. This propelled them to mega stars.
one more thing about this video, and what I think is what makes it even creepier, is that it's brightly lit. All
Yes.
these scenes with the creepy stretched faces and the smiling, it's daytime. So that makes
And
it
I
even
think-
weirder.
And I think the guy in the video, because he looks like him, is from Twin Peaks.
Oh, possibly. I might have missed
What's
that.
what's his name in Twin Peaks? The weird guy that's over Leland's shoulder all the time with the slick back hair. You know what I'm talking
Not
about?
Bob.
Is it Bob?
The one
Yeah,
that killed,
weird-
the one that got accused of killing Laura Palmer.
Yeah, no. Well,
Well-
he's like the hallucination guy. You always see him in the
I
mirror.
mean, there's a couple. You got
Is
the
that his
little. You got
name,
the,
though? I
you-
think
you
that's
got
his
the-
name,
you
Bob.
got you got the little guy who's also a hallucination.
No.
The guy with the long hair.
Yes, the long black
That's
hair. yeah.
Bob.
That's
I'm pretty
Bob,
sure
okay.
it's Bob. Yeah.
I think he's in this video.
Oh, is he?
I think it's the same guy. I'm pretty sure he looks
possibly.
just like him. And he's
Yeah.
just in the mirror combing his hair and smiling, and it's
Well,
like,
he's in a mirror in Twin Peaks, if I remember correctly, at
that's what
one
I'm
point.
saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what
So
I think it's him playing Bob.
I actually was recently watching Twin Peaks. I was watching Fire Walk with Me, I think. So
Yeah, I'm
speak
pretty
of the
sure
devil.
that's what it is. So this video is very another David Lynch type.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
I
good
think
one.
that's the same actor because it was the same time. I mean, Twin Peaks was 91. This was what, 93, 94?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. Let's move on. That was the
Yeah. It's a good
just
song.
watched it. It's a crazy video, awesome song.
So my last pick
Mm-hmm.
here is I was gonna go with a different video from this artist, but I changed it last minute. And maybe I'll pick that one in the future. I don't even want to mention it as an honorable mention here.
Yeah, okay.
But this is from Apex Twin,
Mm.
techno artist. All his videos or their videos are kind of nutty. And
Kind
this
of?
is yes, this is Rubber Johnny,
Mm.
which was technically an experimental short film from the director Chris Cunningham, who's directed a couple of videos for Apex Twin.
Yeah.
Once again, very strange, surreal, nightmare logic stuff in all his music videos. Probably some of the most terrifying and ridiculous, and not in like a Pinhead Lemmy way, like just ridiculous in a like, what the hell am I watching?
In an
This-
early YouTube way.
Yes, this was I believe 2005. So
Yeah,
this was a
is
little bit
early
later.
YouTube.
Yeah. This is something you would think you'd find on the dark web, like a cursed video you're not supposed to be watching.
Yep.
All
that's
his stuff.
That's exactly what this is supposed to be. Yeah.
So in this video, we've got someone off screen talking to this. It's really close, out of focus guy. Almost looks like an alien.
Yeah.
Not in the schism way, in the kind of
No.
You're not even
Deformed Hills Have Eyes
Hills
way.
Have Eyes was what I'm gonna say, but at this point you don't
Yeah.
know what he fully looks like yet.
Yeah.
At this point in the video, he does look like a Hills Have Eyes character, 100%.
In part, yeah,
Yeah.
they totally did the
Yeah.
Hills Have Eyes guy in the wheelchair
With the big head.
He's
With the
totally
big-
supposed to be Rubber Johnny.
So he's talking to someone off screen, but it's all gibberish, like baby gibberish. Can't really understand them. I think all you understand is him saying "mama," and it's
Yeah.
really close. All,
Yeah.
all infrared, so it has that kind of that night vision quality to it, the entire music video. And that is Johnny. And he starts to freak out. And keep in mind, this is very close. When you guys watch the video, you'll see what we're talking about. It's very close, out of focus. He starts screaming, freaking out, and the guy off screen is telling him, hey, calm down, calm down, calm down. We then cut to a random dog, a little small chihuahua that's like drinking
Dog
out of
eating.
drinking water out of a bowl, whatever. And we finally see a full reveal of Johnny, Rubber Johnny, in a wheelchair. And he's like Manny said, heavily. His head looks like it weighs probably like fucking
Yeah,
50
giant
pounds.
tumorous,
Yeah,
tumorous
it's
type head,
gross looking. And we also get like this weird shot of the title, Rubber Johnny, in a
Looking at
condom.
7.
It's like a condom being inflated.
Yeah.
It's really kind of strange. And then we cut to a techno beat, and it's literally Johnny dancing. Now this does not sound scary or spooky but trust
it
me,
is.
it is fucking bonkers. He's literally dancing to this techno beat.
In the wheelchair.
In the wheelchair. He does get out of the wheelchair where you see his ass a couple times because he's naked, I think, but he's so deformed, there's nothing going on there. And there's a couple of shots where he hits a pane of glass and his head almost explodes and then reforms. It's a cool effect, and I believe it was done with claymation or practical effect. You can tell they really smushed something and then reversed it and did it a couple of times for this effect. And now here's the kicker. A giant rail of cocaine. Johnny Rubber does. He just snorts it.
The whole thing takes it all.
A
Yeah.
giant like rail, dude, of coke. And then there's a bunch more shots of him dancing, the fucking dog. But there's like a pause in the middle of the dog looking at him and him looking at the dog. It is, in my list currently, the strangest music video you will ever see. Apex Twin stuff is usually just kind of weird and highly electronic. It's not even music you'd you listen to at a club. Like you can't really dance to this music. Rubber Johnny can dance to this because he's a little weirdo,
Because
little
he's Rubber
deformed.
Johnny.
Because he's Rubber Johnny, he's a little weirdo. But it's a strange movie. This was released, I think, with a book accompanying it. Maybe it was this. Maybe I was mixing this up with the Madonna video. I'm pretty sure both maybe had a book, but this did have a book. It had a release. I saw this video at a friend of mine. He had, I don't know, it might have been, no one on the show knows, but Tito, who's a friend of mine, Manny knows him as well. I think he bought this and we randomly watched it like 5 times. We were highly amused and frightened by how weird and strange this is. Because, everyone knows the Come to Daddy song, which I don't want to get into, but that's probably the most popular Aphex Twin song. Another bizarre video. Maybe we'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
And this one just takes that up a notch. And it's unsettling. It's trippy. I think when you want to make an impact with a music video, this is what you do. This is it. And I don't think this,
especially at the time.
Yeah, I don't think this aired on TV because it was so bizarre. It might have.
I think this was just like early YouTube.
Yeah.
That's it.
It is a just. I recommend everyone listen to all these videos. In the description, I'll put a link. I'll maybe even on the audio only version, I'll put a link to all the music videos we talk about. But it is just fucking bonkers.
It's weird. It's bonkers.
I love the cocaine
it's super
snort.
fast. It's very like if you're prone to seizures, this video.
If you're epileptic, don't watch this music video. Sorry, I should put a warning there at the top.
Yeah.
It is a mess in the best way. I do love the cocaine. I'm thinking about the cocaine.
It's all like one shot, basically. It's not even like they did a bunch of stuff.
No.
They just had this guy in a wheelchair just go nuts, and then they stretched the video, and they sped it up, and they slowed it down, and they cut it.
A lot of editing, yeah. It's a lot. Heavily edited music video. And I think it's a practical effect. It's a real dude. They made him look like this. Yep. The pane of glass shots when his face is like falling apart and being smashed into it, that was all done practical. It's an actual chihuahua sitting there barking. This is the type of music video you have to see. It has to be seen to be believed. Yeah. It's just fucking crazy. And I'll leave it at that. Manny, what's your next pick?
My next one is, and my next and last for the day. I think that this is one of the greatest. Like you said earlier, there was one of your greatest. I think this is one of the greatest Halloween-y videos. Minus the one that it's kind of inspired by. The original being the Bela Lugosi and Bauhaus. I think this song is the Bela Lugosi's Dead of the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
It is Typo Negative's Black Number One.
Yes, good one to end it with.
Yes, I think that this became the goth anthem of the 90s. Up until that point, yes. I mean, Bela Lugosi's Dead is the goth.
That is the goth song.
Yeah. That is it. Then This Corrosion of Sisters of Mercy was of the 80s, the late 80s. And I think that this one is of the 90s. This is the goth anthem of the 90s. It's very tongue-in-cheek too, because Pete was the type of person who couldn't take himself seriously. He didn't take anything seriously. He was a very funny person, and when you look at everything that they do in this video, you can tell as much as he's into the gothy thing, he also realizes how silly some of it really is.
Yeah.
And Typo was originally more of a hardcore band. They were very heavy metal and angry. He was very angry.
Carnivore right before.
Under Carnivore. And even Typo's first album, Slow, Deep, and Hard, very heavy, and he had a lot of social commentary in it that make people call him xenophobic. They call him racist. They call him sexist. But it's all very tongue-in-cheek and very angry young man. This album, they changed, and he actively told the band that he wants to go in a more gothic direction, and he wants to sing he wants to write about the romance and broken love and being in love and all this. He actually told them, this is what I want to do. And the band said, cool, let's go with it. You know, and this was the breakout song of that.
This is probably the Typo Negative
It is
song.
the,
It's
yes,
the
it
Typo
is.
Negative song.
It's got the heavy bass again, like Bela Lugosi's Dead. It's got the heavy bass, and he's got the echoey reverb on it. The video starts off, it's spooky black and white. It's his face under a single light, and he's singing.
So good.
Single. I did over, but it's actually under. It's kind of got that like campfire, like he's singing in front of a campfire.
And you
like,
could tell he painted his face
a little bit,
bit with like some white makeup
Yes.
or something.
Yeah, you know, and he makes it like he pulled his head into the flashlight. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at it. Yes, it actually is overhead. It is
Okay.
overhead. Yeah, it's an overhead. He's got his fangs that he had permanently
Yeah.
done. Those are permanent fangs that he had done, and something again to the not taking it seriously. A friend of mine a long time. You see the band in there. He's singing there, and he says it's a girl that he's kind of kissing her neck, and he's doing this to her. And at the time, I will never forget this. I will never forget this. Every time I see it, I think of this. My friend Roger, he saw that him putting he said, and here comes Peter with his banana fingers.
He was a big dude, Pete Steele. So
he was 6'7".
yeah, he's a big dude.
And this girl in this video is clearly someone. It looks like he's wrapping bananas around
Yeah.
her.
She was probably a tiny woman that they cast for this. So
He's got bananas for fingers.
it's so good, dude. I
will
haven't
never-
watched this video in I watched it today. It had been a while since I had rewatched it. I was like, wow, this.
Yeah.
I listened to Typo. Like, I don't even think you said it, but like every time I hear Typo, I think of you because this is like one of your favorite bands.
It is my favorite.
I think it
band
is
of
your
all
favorite
time.
band of all time. So every time
Yes.
since I've known you, I
They
correlate
are
Typo
absolutely-
Negative with you. So.
Yes,
And
my
I love
favorite
and
band of
Typo's
all
one of
time.
my favorite bands too. I love Typo. Being from New York and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of how they went from, and I know we're not talking about the video. We're taking a 5-second break here to talk about them, but they're
Yeah.
from New York. The fact that they came from like the hardcore scene and then morphed into this is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
amazing to me. And it's just,
They-
it's what makes them so good.
Yeah. So in the video, we see the band. There's a bunch of goths dancing around them.
It's so
they
silly.
look like they're having a Halloween party in the Addams Family house. And
Yeah.
then there's some shots of the same band with all the people out in front of this big tree. You know,
They're
But,
probably like in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. I wouldn't
Probably.
be surprised. Yeah.
you know, because they just stand them in front of the tree,
Yeah.
one at a time. It's not the whole thing. It's just each member in front of the tree, which means they could only shoot that.
Yeah.
They had one light, they put it at the tree, and they put each member individually in front of that tree and shot that, with some flashing lights and stuff. So you have Pete with his big pirate earrings and his fangs. His banana fingers. There's a group of like goths kind of having a Halloween party around them. There's someone dressed up like Clockwork Orange. There's a werewolf. There's a vampire with obviously plastic fangs.
Yeah.
There's a guy dressed as a vampire, clearly plastic fangs, and he's just doing this.
They just got like a guy off the street. You want to be a vampire?
Dude, this
Here's
is all
some
their
fangs.
friends. I guarantee
Yeah,
these
probably.
are just their friends that they told them they put on crazy costumes. Like I said, Pete never took anything seriously. As much as it seems like he did, there was always a tongue-in-cheek to what they did. And this video is clearly, I mean, the song Black Number One itself
It's hair dye.
is literally the hair
Yeah.
dye that people use to turn their hair black. It was a color hair dye, Black Number One, and the song is about a girl who wants to go out and she wants to have a party, but she can't because she has to dye her hair because her roots are showing. She cannot go out in public because her roots are showing. The quintessential goth anthem is about a girl who's too vain to leave the house because her roots are showing.
A lot of
How much
Adam's
more-
Family references too
Yeah,
in this.
the-
Like, And
They
the Morticia, the Lily
uh-huh.
Munster. He mentions Lily
Yep.
Munster. The like you said,
There's even somebody dressed like Lily.
yeah,
They, and
it's
they're
so good,
all very again. It's just a bunch of goths at a party. There's a big spooky tree.
dude. There's like people wearing Halloween masks
they
in
are
the
literally
tree.
yes, yes.
I never noticed that before. Like when he's
Mhm.
holding the giant up, he's using the
There's a
giant
kid. It's a
upright
little kid.
bass, and he's
Uh-huh.
playing it normal, like it's a normal
He
bass.
hangs it off
He
a
is
chain on him.
hanging a giant, like he's holding an upright bass, like it weighs 5 pounds. But
Yep.
behind him in the tree are like either kids
There's
or
a couple of
women
kids, yeah.
wearing Halloween masks. It is, and you know what's? I'm happy to see that Black Number One. It pops up in Halloween playlists now a lot.
It does.
And for good reason. Halloween is mentioned in the song, so it makes sense. All Hallows Eve, I believe he says, right? So it's so good, dude. It's fucking it's typo. Typo negative does no wrong. I miss typo, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I miss typo making music in 2024. It's
I
a
do
bummer,
too,
man. I know it sucks, but
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. This was a good one. I'm happy you
Yeah,
picked
this
this
is the
one.
best. And that's going to lead to my other honorable mention. At the time in the 90s, again, when Typo changed their sound, a lot of bands changed their sound. Right. This was 1993. Bloody Kisses was 1993. By 1995, there was a metal renaissance in Europe that came from this. They started as a hardcore band and they turned into this gothic metal. Moonspell, Catatonia, Tiamat, Sentenced, Paradise Lost,
Plethora.
My Dying Bride, and a ton of others. By 1995, all adopted this sound.
Yeah, some of them were death metal. Like My Dying Bride was
Straight
a
up
heavy,
death.
like a
Yes.
heavy band, and then they turned
Yes.
into like a weird amalgamation of like
Moonspell was a black metal band. Catatonia was
Yeah.
death metal.
Weird.
Sentence death metal. Tiamat was black metal, and they all moved to this. And they all went
Yeah.
dark. They all went gothic. And which is really funny that they're called gothic.
It's not really goth
'Cause
music.
It's
Yeah.
it's called it is goth music. It's
Like
goth metal.
goth
This
metal.
is goth metal.
Yeah.
But I mean in general, the gothic label doesn't fit. Like how Bauhaus always said we're not a goth band. They're not goth because Gothic was a style of architecture, that Victorian Romantic era. But Bauhaus, who is basically the creators of this, are named after a architecture style from the early 1900s, which is anything but Gothic cathedral.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very utilitarian and shapely and clean, not like those big cathedrals with all the ornaments and very. So anyway, so that leads me to my honorable mention video, which is Opium by Moonspell. Now, there's really nothing creepy about this. The whole aesthetic of it, it feels like the video is meant to be, it's in an opium den, because that's what the song is about. It's all called opium, so they're kind of in an opium den, but it seems like it's an opium den in Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's nothing really creepy about the video. It just has that whole aesthetic.
I'm not familiar with this one at all. I gotta watch it.
I couldn't even find like a remastered version of it. It's been it's just, because again, this was a European change in sound. A lot of like American bands really didn't do
Moonspell
this.
also never became like a huge, like
Not
as
here.
big as Typo Negative did.
Not here.
Not here. Yeah.
Not here, but no. I mean, like Moonspell is huge in Portugal. Like they have fucking
Oh, wow,
postage
really?
stamps.
Oh wow, that's
Yes.
crazy.
Their first album, Wolfheart, was put on a
It's a
postage
good
stamp.
album. Yeah.
Yes.
I gotta listen
and
to some Moonspell. It's been a while.
Yeah, Moonspell, for people who like Typo, if you don't know Moonspell, Typo is very vampiric and gothic. They went werewolves.
Yeah.
Their theme was werewolves.
Transformed into werewolves.
Yes, yes. So they incorporate werewolves into the video a little bit, like that feeling, and it's a Bram Stoker's Dracula feeling. Nothing really spooky about it. It's just the whole
Horror vibe.
the look
Yeah,
of it, the look and feel, somewhere between. Like imagine a Bram Stoker's Dracula shot in the style of the Crow City of Angels, because it's got that orange gold glow to everything. you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So,
That's a
but
good one.
it's one of those that like you would again, you'd play it on the wall and the song fits. You'd
Yeah.
play it during a Halloween party because it looks right.
All these, honestly, all the videos we've chosen here today
Yeah.
would work perfectly for any kind of visual mixtape
In our
you
longest
know,
live video
ever in our longest episode ever. So to close out, Manny, if you had to
Yes.
choose one of my music videos as your favorite, which one would you go with?
Crypto Kid.
I mean, I figured because of Begotten and you
Yeah.
loving Begotten.
Yes, Crypto Kid. Yes, by far.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
love it. I love the song too.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
a great
love the song.
underrated Manson song, I'd say. It's a creepy song too. I
Only
didn't
like
really
a 2 minutes too.
Yeah, but it's a creepy. Just the whole song is
Yep.
really creepy. If I had to pick from your list, I'm going with Typo Black number one.
course.
I will never listen. I love Typo. I have an entire playlist that has like, I don't know, it's like freaking 3 hours long. It's all Typo, and I listen to it at least a couple times a year. Yeah, Manny's got a Typo tattoo. I actually want to get a little Typo
That
tattoo.
Pete drew on my arm himself.
Yeah, which is kind of
you know,
wild. Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I'm going with that just because it feels like Halloween.
Yes.
When you watch that video and even just listen to the song, and listen to the extended version. Do not listen to the radio edit.
It's like 11 and a half
Yes,
minutes.
listen to the long version. That is the superior version of Black number one. But the video is the shorter version, but it works too.
I would love an 11 and a half minute version.
So
of that
would I.
video. Oh man.
Just Pete Steele standing there being a stud, wrapping his hands around
Bananas.
goth girls, all sexy and kissing them.
His
And
bunch of bananas.
yeah, it's so good, dude. I said it before. Like I miss Typo making music now. Like it sucks that he passed away and they're not around anymore. But at least we have a good catalog of music. And honestly, dude, a lot of Typo stuff. October Rust is a fall, autumn, Halloween album too. And
Both
just
of them are.
everything.
Dude, the Love You to Death video
Yeah.
too. That video is straight autumn.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so good.
Wow.
In the cemetery
That's your
and stuff.
August
Yeah.
song, and then this is your September, October.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's so good. It's I had to pick that one. When you sent me your list of songs, it's like I'm going with Black number one. I love Typo too, so I love Typo. I love that song. I think every Halloween when I end up at a bar, if it has a jukebox where I could pick any song, I always play back Black
Always.
number. It's Halloween.
Always.
Got to play Black number one.
Always.
Just
It's that,
because.
Parabola.
Yeah.
I'll always pick. Like try to find the longest songs I can to get the most out of my quarter. You know.
The long Typo songs. Get that all going. So good. But yes, that's our list. Check out all these videos this Halloween season. Play them at your party. Play them in the background if you want. Like I said, I'll put together a YouTube playlist and I'll put that in the description of this episode so you can watch all of them that are available currently on YouTube. I'll put it in there and you can check those out. As always, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Haunted Hangover. Head over to hauntedhangover.com where you can get links to everything, including our Patreon page. We get early access to episodes, bonus content, all that good stuff. And as always, remember, the best cure for a hangover is...
More booze.
I think our buddy here wants to say something.
Welcome to Haunted Hangover. Motherfucker.
Busta, the show's ending, not beginning. He's confused.
There's my little guy for today. That's my guy for today.
Your little zombie. Bye, guys.